All right, what is up, everybody? It's funny because I did a lot of work on that intro, more probably than I ever prepared for any podcast. Like, actually, what I'm going to talk about, I've spent more time on that, and then it's like all glitchy because whatever the internet. I don't think it's the internet. I don't know. It's something going on, but like, I want to make sure everyone knows that that intro was pretty phenomenal.
It was good. No, that was good. Did you actually make that?
Yeah. Well, I
Oh,
stole the music. You got
I
like free music on YouTube or whatever.
yeah. I usually pay a guy like in another country to do it for like $10. That's probably why yours
Yeah.
looks a lot better than my stuff. But no, that
Well,
was good.
I just took a bunch of clips and put them together. Anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. All right. Oh, look at Glenn Belange's over here. this I work with this guy and he like just says stupid stuff on Facebook and people just troll him. And I and I love it. So shout out to Glenn. But this podcast, every podcast, brought to you by the fine folks at Quick Trip. I just re-upped with them, so I'm gonna be at Quick Trip for another year, baby. And they got a
And
deal on their car wash. Check your Quick Rewards app. And then they got like a nice little bundle over on the car wash. So go get your car wash at Quick Trip. All right, here we go. We got Ryan Schlip. He is the man, the legend from the Packernet Packers podcast. Welcome, man.
thanks, man. Appreciate that.
One
I
of my
love
favorite
love
podcasts.
I love how you say the Packernet podcast every time. You just start adding stuff onto it. The Packernet Packers of the Packernet Packertown podcast.
As long as they type in Packernet, they'll find
Yeah,
you.
they'll find
And that,
something. Yeah.
yeah,
They'll find a good podcast, whatever it is.
it will be. So, did you join your people on your channel too?
Yeah, no, I see some in there. Andrew's in the house.
Yeah, because it says paired. All right, so for everyone else who doesn't know who I am, it doesn't matter. But
They do.
let's talk about this game. I feel like most weeks we have the same kind of vibe. Like we kind of think the same things. You think I'm a little smarter than I do, but like around the same thing. Like one thing that annoyed me is the ugly win thing.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like it's a thing that exists. Like a team that you think you're gonna do these things to, and then it doesn't happen. But like a win is a win. And I saw Packer fans like legit mad.
Yeah.
Like they were like, "You should not enjoy this win. Don't celebrate it. Like don't even talk about it." And like, dude, calm down, bro. They won the game. Like when they're like figuring out the seeding for the playoffs, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, but the Packers, they barely beat
They
Mr.
almost
Zappy."
didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
they almost didn't. Let's count the
yeah.
almost didn'ts.
Yeah, so, like, I'm sure you talked about this yesterday. I was gonna, but, like, Sunday was killer for me. I went to bed at, like, 5 o'clock yesterday. I was like, "I'm not doing it live. I'm going." I got some shut-eye, and, but now I'm back. But, I was so, like, irritated by that, and just, like, everything that was being said about the game, like, it like, I heard someone say, that was a nice, game by the Patriots. Like they did a good job, but that was an ugly win for the Packers. Like, how can both those things be the same? Like, would you rather like you think Bill Belichick's like that was a pretty win or a pretty loss right there? We
Well,
looked
yeah,
pretty good in that loss. Like, no one cares if you lose, you win or you lose. So, what do you think about that whole thing?
it's stupid to hold two teams to a different standard. I mean, it's not as though the Packers only do good if they win by 40 and the Patriots do good if they lose by 10. Like, no, they're both professional football teams that are 100% trying to win the game. One team sucked and lost, and the other team won. So, I mean, yeah, the first thing when I went on the podcast the next day was I really don't want to sound negative. And so I try to get that stuff out of the way because there is negative stuff. It's,
Yeah,
not everything was positive. There were problems and everything. And so it does feel weird to come on and kind of go on a tirade about like, well, this kind of sucked and I wish this was a little bit better. But no, I mean, you don't want to take that too far, right? And start acting like the team sucks. I mean, we got a good record. There's a lot of positives to take away. I think my only concern is like if a couple of these things become regular, maybe we don't win all too many games down in the future. But no, I mean it's a win, and I think there's a lot of things that are slowly getting better over time. We're seeing Romeo Dobbs take a big step. I'm still real excited about Christian Watson at some point, kind of getting a little bit more worked into this offense because that dude is just he freaks me out, man. He gives me chills when I go back and watch some of the stuff he does. He just flies by people, and I'm like, man, one of these days, there's going to be that 200-yard 4-touchdown game. That probably won't happen, but I dream about it sometimes, and it's going to be awesome.
That is the thing that like, I first of all, because like I get it. Like the Packers, like I predict them to win 27-10. That didn't happen. But my predictions are always off. So like what do I know? But like I get like there's like issues, like there's things that people can point to like, hey, that has to get better. And I guarantee like in like because I saw someone on Facebook say, well, I don't like that they won because then they won't fix anything. Do you think Matt LaFleur and coaching staff is going in like, hey, we won, guys. Let's just not talk about
You're
it.
perfect.
Yeah, we're perfect. We won. Like, no, there's still. I'd rather
Yeah,
them win and fix some stuff than and lose and fix them. I mean, I just rather them
right.
win. And like you said, like Dobbs, Watson. I feel like these two like coming together, like they're gonna get like so much reps, like more than I guess not for every team, but for the Packers, like in history. But like so by come playoff time, come the end of the season, that push, I feel like they're not even rookies anymore because they're getting thrown in so wildly right here. And then you got Tunyon involved, you got a touchdown. And I think there's some positives to look at this offense. The defense, they started good, kind of, but if you put your defense in enough situations, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna crack.
No, the defense was just annoying because, people keep saying you lost to a third string quarterback. That guy didn't do anything. He didn't do a single thing in that game. Like they ran the ball 99% of the time, and then he completed some play action because everybody bid on it because obviously everybody's going to bite on it, and he catches that one pass down. But the annoying thing wasn't that Bailey Zappi did anything because he didn't. The annoying thing was they kept running when we knew they were going to run and we couldn't really stop them. But I went back and looked at it, and I think it was pretty uncharacteristic. It wasn't because everybody says the Packers' run defense is bad, and like this is just showing how bad they were. No, this was uncharacteristic. Like these
Oh
guys
yeah.
are not like the linebackers. If you care about PFF or whatever, lowest grades they've had. Kenny Clark, lowest grade he's had. Like I don't know what happened, but for whatever reason, some guys were having a real bad day. This isn't what we should expect moving forward. It sucks that it happened, and I would rather it didn't, but it did, and it also is worth noting that what was it, three and outs the defense gave us at the end of the game. So they tightened it up, they shut it down, they figured it out, and they gave us the ball back to go back and win. So again, it's like there's negatives you can be upset about, but at the end of the day, the defense got the job done, the offense got the job done, and we won. And I went into this game saying it's not going to be a blowout. I don't know why people thought it was going to be 10 points. This is a tough team. They like to run the ball. It's Bill Belichick. I did not come into this thinking it was going to be a blowout, and it wasn't. So, yeah, I think people just had too high expectations.
I said 27-10. But my score predictions are always a little off a little bit. But but I also did say Bill Belichick. If you're playing against Bill Belichick, I don't care. He's gonna outcoach every coach he
Right.
coaches. I mean, even if he loses, I feel like he still did his part. Like he's just that good. They, you know, they were down to their backup gets hurt, then you're like, "Oh, it's really gonna be a cakewalk now," and it just was
Right.
not. First of all, his name is just something I just love. Like, if he was a backup Packer player, I guarantee you, everybody would be like, "Put him in now," or now with Roger, but you know how they were with, like, Kurt Benkert.
Right. Right.
"Get rid of Jordan Love," just because his name, it's a cool name. He didn't even have 100, yards passing. He was 10 for 15,
Oh,
99
you're
yards and
kidding.
touchdown. So
I,
he did.
I
I mean, that's good for a rookie, like just getting
yeah.
thrown into the situation like that against one of the. I don't know where you rank the Packers defense. It depends what game it is, but like that's a good defense, and he did all right. So I guess Patriot fans should be happy.
As weird as it sounds, I think it hurt us. I think we would have done even better with Hoyer and probably even better than that with Mac Jones, just because our defense thrives on 3rd and 10. That's what we love. We want a guy to stand back and shotgun and throw the ball. And they're not doing that. They're running, which is obviously not as big of a strength. But Rashawn Gary's neutralized. Our great corners are neutralized. All our best players aren't doing anything. And all they're doing is running against, our run
Yeah.
defense, which again isn't that good. So that's why I'm looking at Buffalo and I'm like, it sounds stupid, but I would borderline rather play Buffalo than play the Giants, because you got the Giants that were just going to run behind Saquon Barkley all day, and Buffalo's going to drop back and pass. And it's like, hey, at least we got Jair and our corners and Rashawn Gary and all that stuff ready to rock and roll. We got a shot if you're going to drop back and pass. I don't like the idea of going up against a team that like, no, we're just going to run Saquon all day long. Dang it, man, that sucks.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, like all offseason, like the Packers defense doesn't have a weakness, but like they've shown that they do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, they're having a hard. Same with the Bears. I mean, in that game they couldn't tackle. In this game, they're just getting pushed around a little bit. So, it kind of sucks. I don't expect them to be quite that bad, but also, again, Saquon Barkley's maybe the best running back in football right now. He's tearing it up. So whatever it is, they got to get figured out. And Kenny even said, to the person that told you they're not going to go back and fix anything, everybody has acknowledged that wasn't a very good game and we got stuff to fix, including Kenny. And he's like, yeah, we kind of sucked in that game a little bit, but we're going to get it figured out and we're going to be better next week. And it's like, all right, cool, man. I can buy into that.
Yeah, because like sometimes you win when you suck. I mean, I'm not saying they suck, but like I don't think I'm not sure one player is like, yeah, I'm happy with what happened there.
Right.
Like they know. So like so that's what good teams do. But first of all, let's talk about that for a second because I think it was a good test. And someone else says to me, and I agree that like it shouldn't have been like what it was, but it was. So like they had a whole game uh of being tested. Like at the end of the game, they got to go do this, they got to get a stop, they got to go down and score, and the field goal, the whole thing. So like I feel like a team that gets to do that every time, it's like a good test because like come playoff time, you're gonna play some tough teams. You're gonna be in these situations, and these guys, I feel like they got one that they shouldn't have been in, but
No,
it
that was
was. I think it's
actually
good.
a point that I had made too on the podcast was you don't want to have to be in that situation, but now that you are, this is actually kind of cool because now we're playing playoff football. As dumb as it sounds, because the Patriots aren't necessarily a playoff team, you're still in this situation where, okay, we've got some serious problems that we can't seem to fix. We have to overcome it right now. We have to make clutch plays and clutch situations. And again, we had that. We had the Patriots in a short field this close to ending the game and our defense went 3 and out. We got the ball back, and then our guys need to come up with some clutch plays. You got Rodgers with his third down throw and all this stuff. So they did those things that you need a playoff team to do. So even though the whole thing maybe together was a little sloppy, at the end of the game, it became playoff football. And I'll be honest, when we went into overtime, I sat back and said, we don't win overtime, man. I know how this goes. I've seen this before. We suck at overtime. I know we're going to lose. But they overcame that too. So, there's a lot of positives, again, that came out of that game.
Yeah, I definitely think it was good. Um, to see them do it and not crumble because a lot of teams, even some Packer teams, people talked about like when things go bad, when Rodgers
Yeah.
throws a pick, he threw a pick six, like that. That is rare, and they didn't crumble around it. Like they figured it out at the end. They got it done, and that's what good teams win when they play crappy.
Yeah.
The
And
Brady won
honestly,
the Super Bowls that way.
and that's what we need because we've been 13-3. The problem is when we run into a conflict against a team, we kind of fall apart and we don't recover from it. We recovered, right? So again, it sounds silly because, okay, well, this isn't, I don't even know who the good teams are this year. Everybody kind of sucks, but this isn't the Eagles, I guess, or whatever. But no, but it's still that situation where the team is crumbling and you, as Packer fans, you watch and go, I've seen this before. I know how this ends. We're going to lose. But they rallied back and they fought offensively, defensively, and special teams and won the game. So that's what we need this team to do. Not, we've seen the number one offense that goes 13-3 and crumbles. I want to see the team that falls apart, comes back together, rallies, and wins the game.
And that is like a lot of what I've been saying is like we've had those 13-3 teams, those number one seeds, whatever. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's
It's
kind of the
entertaining.
goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like if you don't do anything in the playoffs, then it really doesn't matter. It's a good couple weeks, but that's it. But 2010 when the Packers won the Super Bowl, they weren't like picked. Everyone wasn't like high on the list, and
Yeah.
they got on a roll. And like a lot of those Giants teams, like a lot of the teams that win the Super Bowl, it's a hard fought season. Like I would rather have a hard fought season and win a championship than winning 13, 14 games. I can talk crap all year, have a good time, and troll everyone. But then come playoff time, I'm eating my words a little bit. So
Right.
like I don't mind if the Packers have to battle this year and like, you know, because what's going to happen is like they lost to the Vikings, who I still think is a worse team. They
No,
shouldn't have lost that game, but I think I kind of I wouldn't say expected, but I knew Tampa was going to be a really hard game. I kind of thought possibly they could lose that game. I mean,
me
I think
too.
anyone who's being realistic, it could be in playing even the Patriots, but there's some other games. But like I think that's what teams do. They win games that maybe you thought that's gonna be a tough one, or maybe you think it's gonna be a loss, and then they lose some games that you think that's a cakewalk. So I think that's just what the NFL is.
Yeah, I mean, if you look around, and that's the other thing, some fans get a little too carried away, probably myself too, as far as pessimism, but you look around and say, well, that shouldn't have been that way. Well, look at what the Chiefs are doing, how they got blown out against in a game they never should have lost. And all these teams, they're losing games they shouldn't, and even games that they're winning. I mean, Kansas City just beat Tampa and they put up a ton of points, and nobody's done that, and that's impressive. How many points did Tampa score? They scored like 30 some odd points. They barely get into the 20s all season. Their offense is terrible. So, even Kansas City, if you wanted to be pessimistic, could look at it and say, how in the world do we give up this many points to Tampa, who can't do anything this year? We're doomed. We suck. It's over. We just,
Yeah.
we should trade Mahomes because we'd rebuild it and everything. Everybody can do that, right? So it's at the end of the day, as much as we want to analyze it, it really just does come down to just find a way to win the game and move on to next week. That's all it is.
It is. And look at the Lions. They're the number one scoring offense
Yeah.
and the last scoring defense, and they're 1-2?
Yeah. They're the number one offense, and they've won one game. I was looking at it. They are the highest point total in NFL history in terms of like most points and most points given up as far as like best offense and worst defense. Number one in NFL history that anybody. These are the highest scoring games ever. Also, which is hilarious, they scored 35 points per game. They have a -1 point differential, which is shocking, meaning they've given up more points than they've scored, and they are a really, really high scoring offense. So as good as the offense seems, even though 2 of those games were garbage time points and everything, the defense is historically bad. It is brutal, and I shouldn't say I can't wait to play them because it could be a disaster, but at least our offense has a real chance of looking great. That's all I know. If we're going to have a 45-point game, it's probably going to be against the Lions.
And that could be like I don't even know offhand like when they play them, but sometimes when you play a team like that, it really gives you that
Yeah.
confidence, gets your receivers, uh, get them going. But I think the Packers have I wouldn't say easy run here, but they have a nice little schedule that with winnable games. Like I wouldn't, who knows like what's gonna happen. But I think the Packers are good in shape. I forget what the schedule is, but they play the Bills. A lot of people saying, hey, they're gonna be 6-1 going into the Bills. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get. I did the same thing before, where I was like, we're going to steamroll New England because their offense sucks. But it's not just so much how good or bad a team is; it's matchup. So I am a little concerned because I think if you're going up against teams that are struggling and run the ball well, it's like that's not really what we want. I want a team that sucks but likes to throw and sucks at it. That's my team. I wouldn't mind playing the Bears again because they give up a ton of pressures. So it's like Rashawn's gonna have like 7 sacks. It's gonna be great. Like let's just play them every week. But there's certain teams where it's like I know we're better in terms of just ranking them, but when you look at how they like to play and how we don't want guys to play us, it's like that might at the very least same as New England. It's like I think we win, but the problem is everyone's going to say we should blow out the Giants. We should win 35-2. It's like, yeah, but that's not going to happen. They're going to run the ball. They're going to have a lot of success. They're going to control the clock. It's going to be a close game. And then everybody's going to say the Packers, I guess they suck. And it's like, no, they don't suck. It's just how the game is going to go based on how the two teams like to play. So I'm just not looking forward to that because everyone's going to say they got an easy schedule. They should blow everybody out. And they're probably not going to blow a lot of teams out. I think they're going to win, but I think it's going to be hard fought. And I think it's going to annoy people.
Yeah, and I'm good with the close games. It makes it a lot more fun for the stream, like when they're like really
Oh,
doing
yeah.
good,
Right.
because the comments are a lot more fun.
Yep.
Otherwise it's like freaking give up, they lost. Like my comments were all like for a minute they're like, oh, they're gonna lose to a third string quarterback. But yeah, like I forgot what I was gonna say completely. I ain't gonna lie, but yeah,
Okay.
like oh yeah, I'm good with like hard fought games because I feel uh, like I said earlier, those hard fought games I think like builds character. It builds like hunger. Like I'm okay because the Packers offense, those days of scoring 45 a game or whatever are over.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
defense is gonna have to win some games. The offense like don't turn the ball over. Like that's like what they're doing, and it's not really Carrick. You know that word I'm trying to say, Carrick. It's not like them.
I know what you're trying to say. I don't know the word though. I get that.
Yeah, I was going for a big word and failed. You just gotta get out of that thing, just switch up the whole sentence. You know what I mean? But, it's really not like them. Rodgers doesn't throw picks. He sure doesn't throw pick sixes. Like pick sixes, but like when Rodgers throws a pick six, like I remember back in the day when Favre did, you just yell at the TV, freaking Favre, you'd be like just cussing him. Oh, but Rodgers, like he never does it, so it's like, but like they can't be doing it. I don't care if it's a
Right.
fumble, if it's a pick, you can't do it. Like this offense needs to run a little better, but like I think that they're doing enough to win besides
I
week 1,
I
and,
think
I
they
think that they're gonna get better every week.
I think they might actually have a chance of being that team that hangs a bunch on somebody.
That's the
Um,
word. It's the word characteristic. I
all
still
right,
can't
yeah, that
say it.
works. That's
I think that's like after you drink 4 or 5 beers, that word is not an option
it's
anymore.
even hard to read. I'm looking at it like I think you
Yeah.
misspelled it. There's looks like there's too many letters in there
There's
somewhere.
a lot of letters in
A
that word.
lot of letters. There's so many C's in there. No, but like Professor Cakes was talking about how they've got like all these what the heck is the word now? No, I don't have words. Explosive plays, that's the one. They're like
Alright.
second or third or whatever in explosive plays. We've seen it where like they drive down the field, touchdown, drive down the field, touchdown, drive down the field, but then it's like there's a fumble mixed in. You know, Dobbs had the fumble, Aaron Jones had the fumble right at the goal line. Like it just kind of messes up their rhythm and they can't keep that rhythm going. But if they can keep in a rhythm, why can't they go down and score, more often and get to 35 points? So I think it's in them. And I do think there's going to be a game where that happens. I think we're going to need a few more weapons, but I mean, the running has been incredible. I think that's been an underrated storyline in this. Like as much as we already came into this liking our running backs and knowing that they're really good, I don't ever really remember it looking this easy before. Like Aaron Jones, every time he touches a ball, I feel like he runs for 10 yards. That never, in fact, that was a problem last year. They said, they run fine, but they're really bad at explosive plays. Now we're one of the top teams in explosive plays running. And then hilariously, somehow we have a lot of passing explosive plays because Rodgers is also like number one in pass behind the line of scrimmage. So it's either behind the line of scrimmage or 20 yards, I guess. I don't know. But no, but I mean, I'm saying it's there, and Dobbs is an explosive guy. Christian Watson, if we can get that going, I mean, I feel like he reminds me of Deshaun Jackson is the only thing I can think of. He's that guy where it's like, first play, we're going you could just tell that guy, hey, just so you know, he's going to run behind you and we're going to get a 40-yard touchdown. And there's nothing they can do about it because he's still going to get behind you. So I think it's there. I think we have the running game.
Yeah.
I think we have the receivers. I think we have the ability, if we can be more consistent, to get those 30, 40-point games and start hanging on people like Buffalo. But it's a little clunky right now is the problem.
Yeah, I think at the end of the season, the offense will not look anything like
Yeah.
what it does now. I think Watson, like, you get him going. I saw someone post a video of just him running routes. Like, he's open a lot of times, or he's getting open. Like, he's doing his job.
Yeah.
He just needs to when the ball gets. I mean, and I hate even saying that he needs to catch the ball. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like he knows it. He had one bad drop, so it kind of like sticks in people's crawl a little bit. But these young guys are going to make mistakes. They got to keep going to him. And
Yeah.
I think Rogers kind of talked about like he did throw at him again. I think the perception was like he doesn't. I think he did a little bit with Watson. They said like 3 after that drop. I don't forget what it was, but yeah, but like that's kind of like the Rogers thing. If you drop it, I'm not gonna throw to you. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it kind of seems like it when you're watching.
Yeah.
But they're gonna make mistakes. Keep going at them. I think that these guys by the end of the season are gonna ball out. And I also like you mentioned running backs. Like I kind of like what they're doing, putting them both on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
But like I'd like to see him get more creative, like Madden, like just kind of like because Aaron Jones, you kind of coast him out there. If you get lucky and a linebacker lines on him, like I don't care what the play is, like just throw. I feel like there's a lot, but real life isn't Madden because that's how I'd always do shotgun, dual running backs, and like they can just do whatever. You can just make them do whatever, and they're always open. But in real life, they're not always open. But
No,
that
yeah.
that is what I would do if I was coach.
It's funny because I remember looking at Aaron Jones' contract and just saying, there's no way. Like after this year, we probably got to move on. Maybe you can do some creative stuff. I don't know. But he's a running back. You don't do that. And I'm watching him this year going, I don't care what you got to do. He's got to stay. Like I know we got Dylan. I love Dylan. I know money's a problem. I get it. That sucks. We'll have to find some really talented people to go bye. That dude has to stay because he is. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. He's a special runner when he has the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
It's so fun to just watch him. And I cannot for the life of me imagine just saying, sorry, we can't afford you and letting him go do that for another team when he's right here and wants to stay here. I don't know what they got to do, but they got to figure something out. He can't leave.
He's such a good football player and such a good dude, like the nicest guy.
Oh, yeah, that
Like,
too.
I saw him when like I went to a training camp practice, and like he saw me and came up to me because he recognized me, because whatever.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
I get it. Yeah, you're
and like that was like the coolest thing. I was like, because I was like, oh, that's Aaron Jones right there. He was like not that far from me. So he came up to me. He was so cool. Like he's such a nice,
yeah,
just
that's
good
awesome.
dude. And they don't pay for being nice, but I think it adds on a little bit. I think for me, it's so easy to root for a guy that is just like
Right.
Like the best dude, and he's just good on a football field.
It's the same with Dylan too. I mean, he's got that same.
Yeah,
I mean, in a different way, but he's got that same demeanor. You know, he's a Wisconsinite. He loves it out there. He invests in it and everything. So yeah, no, it's that backfield is awesome for more reasons than just the fact that they're dominant on the field.
yeah, I definitely think so. Like they're awesome. But anyway, so let's talk about the NFC. Like, who do you see like going forward? The Packers like playoff time. How's that gonna look, you think? What teams do the Packers have to worry about? Not just like playoff teams, but like you talk about certain teams maybe run the ball. Like what team is gonna get in the Packers' way come playoff time?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, the Eagles do scare me for those reasons. I mean, not only do they look good, but they're like the number one running team. Like that's what they do really, really well. They got a great offensive line, which would kind of neutralize the pass rush a little bit. And then even if we can kind of get to him, the guy can take off and run. So I mean, there's a lot of things they can do. I mean, Buffalo's scary just because it's Buffalo, and you don't want to lose, but you also definitely don't want to get embarrassed. And if that's one of those games where they're really on and you're really off, I mean, it could turn into a 42-7
Yeah.
game. And it's like, I know we're not that bad, but it's going to be hard to shake that one off. So, you know, it's weird because I feel like the Packers are sputtering a little bit, but they're this close to being that team where you know they can beat anybody. And like if they're at 110%, you know, we talked all offseason about on paper. They haven't really been able to put on paper on the field 100%, but if they can, I mean, there's no team that you look at and go, we can't beat them. You know, again, with I mean, just Rashawn and Kenny alone. Forget Jair and Razul and Stokes and Amos and all the guys that are doing really, really good out there. Those two guys are unstoppable. They're completely unstoppable. Kenny Clark, I mean, he didn't have the greatest game apparently this week, but I was watching him from 2 weeks ago, and every single play, whether it was a run play or pass play, it didn't matter if he was double team, single team, he killed everybody. And Rashawn is the same way. So just those guys, and then you add in the corners and you add in all the other guys, and then on offense you add in this great running game and the offensive line, which hasn't even come together yet. I mean, we got our tackles back. We've been waiting for that forever, and it's like Bakhtiari kind of didn't have the greatest day, and Elton's kind of struggling in pass protection. But if we get them back to, you know what I mean, like all the pieces are
Yeah.
there to where you can look at it and be like, dude, this is going to be a freaking awesome team. It's just a matter of, you know, it's like in the movies when you're trying to start the car and that guy with the chainsaw is coming, probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It could be a knife, I don't know. But he's trying to get the freaking car going. And it's like, if
Oh,
we're this close, you know, if we don't do it, we're going to get chainsawed to death. But, you know, if we can get it turned over fast enough, we can be one of those premier teams. And I think better than we have been in the past, just because we have that defense, we have the special teams. But if we can't get that car turned over, then we're probably kind of just not a great team. So that would suck.
yeah. I think they excuse me. I think they will. Like I said, I think in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think we're gonna start seeing this offense be a little bit more. But like, you know, I'm always saying that, but I really do feel like these young rookies, like every week, they're gonna get better. They're almost like they're not gonna be. But
Michael, by the way, is the most negative person on the planet, and he's just making stuff up right now.
oh, let's bring
Dylan,
it on screen
never,
over here.
Dylan
My,
be positive and slammed Goot for months for drafting Dylan. I literally never did that. That is the dumbest thing. But that guy loves.
Michael,
He just loves to talk trash.
why
That's what
are
he loves.
you making stuff up? I fully
Why is he
believe that.
doing that?
Let's grab a comment here. We got Simon said, "What's up, fellas? Seen a lot of complaining, but this is a solid win versus one of the best coaches of all time." Yeah, I dude, I'm totally like I posted my live reaction to the field goal, Mason Crosby. Like it wasn't edited. Like that was my live reaction. Like, and someone's like, "Oh, why would you be happy they beat a third string quarterback?" I'm like, my kicker just kicked a field goal to win the football game in overtime. Should I be like, well? Too late now. Whatever. I don't know what I should say. Like, you should be mad about this. Like, dude,
No,
like,
again, it was never going to be a blowout. You know, I mean that's it. It is a talented team. It just is. Their
yeah,
offensive line. They got two really good running backs. They're very very good at what they do. And beyond that, they really have one of the better pass rush duos in football. It's kind of underrated, but those two guys are absolute freaks, and they're really really good at that. So you got the pass rush, you've got the ability to run the ball, you've got a brilliant defensive mind, if nothing else, that's going to find ways to make it hard for you. And no, I mean it was going to be a harder game than anybody wanted to make it out to be.
yeah. And I was wrong, but I wasn't flexing. I didn't flex like after the win. I didn't make videos the next day like, yeah, Patriots, we stomped you out. I didn't. Even Patriot fans were like commenting on my stuff after the loss, and I wasn't like flexing and like bragging. But like, yeah, I'm happy the Packers won. Like that, like as a fan, that's what I want. I don't want a lot of things. Like you could talk about like you want this quarterback, you want this wide receiver, you want them to draft this or that, but I just want them to win, and they won. So like mission accomplished. I'm happy. I got drunk. First of all, I was lit on Sunday. Dude, Monday, like I woke up, I had to go. I work at 4 a.m. Like
Yeah.
I came into work, dude. People were like, "Was it a night game?" I'm like, "No, it was not." But like when I started getting litty, it's hard to shut it down.
I
So
get
like,
it.
especially after a win, I'm up celebrating, and like everyone goes to sleep in my house. I come up here in my little podcast area, and I just turn on some music,
Dude,
start drinking.
I
It's
started
a good time.
not a drinker these days, but I started doing that. I come down, I got mine into my basement. I got my little office, my little Packer sanctuary. And yeah, I got some music going, maybe pull up a little bit of stats or whatever. It's kind of nice, man. It's a nice little place to be. I like it. I need to get more
Yeah,
Packer.
like
It's nice.
yeah, like I edit videos, but a lot of times I
Yeah,
get veered off. I find my way on YouTube, and next thing you
that's
know,
my
I'm watching
problem too.
like people like teach me how to clean a carpet or something.
Yeah, I
Like,
think last time I came down and I was going to be like real productive, and then I ended up like pulling up a spreadsheet and ranking 90s singers. So yeah, I kind of get a little sidetracked too.
so who's behind you? I saw someone comment earlier. I know that I probably should know, but maybe I'm just not that cool. But who do we got back here?
So you should check out a movie called American Movie. Any Packer
All right,
fan that's from Wisconsin would love it. Just go watch it. It's a documentary about guys making a movie. This is a real group of guys. They're from Milwaukee, 90s.
all
It's actually
right.
cool because it was recorded when the Packers won the Super Bowl, so you get to see them just get hammered and watch the Packers Super Bowl and stuff. So it really is a fantastic movie. Go find it and watch American Movie. It's
Yeah,
glorious.
I'll definitely do it because I'm from the '90s.
You are.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I was there.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not from them. I wasn't developed. I'm from '79, but,
No, it's a lot of nostalgia, man. It's pretty cool. It's got, the driving around in the 90s cars and I don't know. It's one of my favorite movies, so go check it out.
yeah, I don't know how I missed it. I feel so un-Wisconsin-like of me. But, but yeah, so let's look ahead. This week, the Packers are playing in London. I'm not even gonna get to watch this game. I have to work. My work is going through a lot of changes. They shut down a department. They did a lot of people, whatever. Bad things are happening over there. But, so I gotta work Sunday and till noon, which like normal Sundays, like, oh, that's not a big deal. I'll miss like maybe the first quarter. I can get home, whoop, and I'll be all right. But it's a London game, so I'm really screwed. But anyways, I don't, I don't know why I gave way too much information right there. But so what do you think? What's going to happen over here? It's the Giants. We talked about their Russian attack. First of all, like that's so early, dude. London games are so early. Like I'm glad that they have them, because like a lot of London fans over there, a lot of them, talk to me and whatever. So like I get like why they go over there, but like 7:30 in the morning, like even if I was off, like I
Yeah.
drank on Saturday nights, bro.
Well, you're gonna have to start doing it on Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock in the morning, I guess now.
And that's
But
the thing, if I was doing like a live watch party, I couldn't drink. Be the only one I didn't drink it because I can't get up unless I'm camping. Like there's certain like reasons,
okay.
golfing I think is one of them. I don't really golf, but I would if you let you drink at 8 in the morning. But it's not always socially acceptable. People at the pancake place look at you different. You walk in at 8 in the morning just jagged up. But I don't know where we're going with this. But what are your thoughts on this game this week?
So it's good and it's bad. I mean, they've got those couple of pieces that kind of scare you. I mentioned Saquon. They've I think they've got a pretty bad offensive line, but they also got Andrew Thomas. So if it's, he might be able to neutralize, but then you look at the rest of their offensive line and I'm like, we might have a shot here. You know what I mean? If as far as like controlling that line, stopping the run, getting after the quarterback, which I don't even know who their quarterback is anymore. Do they have a quarterback for this game? Last game they didn't even have a quarterback. I don't know. I haven't followed up on the Daniel Jones thing. But and then, defensively it's the same thing where they've got a lot of bad stuff, but Kayvon Thibodeau is actually looking real good as a pass rusher. Lawrence on the inside is pretty. So again, it's like mostly they suck, but they got a couple guys that could really wreck stuff if you kind
Yeah.
of let them. So overall, I'm feeling optimistic, but I'm trying not to get too carried away with it because every time, and this happens to me especially all the time because I tend to skew negative. I'm not like you when I watch games and things happen. I'm that guy in your comment section going, "This team freaking sucks. I'm tired of this. I can't do this. I'm not watching this stupid game every time." But no, I come in like, dude, it's the Giants. We're going to smoke them. And then it's like, you start the game, go 3 and out and punt. And it's like, what the heck? It's the Giants. We should have got a
Yeah,
it's
every time, why is that happening?
This is just should never happen. So you get that reality check real quick and realize these are NFL teams and none of them actually suck, even though I throw that word around way too much.
I've
But
been known to do the same.
yeah, no, I love the word suck, or trash is another good one. Everybody, according to me, is trash, even though I did do 10 push-ups today, but that's about my limit. But anyways, no,
You did 10, huh? 10 more
I
than
did.
me.
No, I was surprised. I didn't know if I could still do it, but I cranked out 10. I tell myself I could have done like 20, but I stopped just because I don't, now we'll never know.
I'm not trying to prove anything, all right, people? I'm not over here trying to brag and flex in front of you.
I rocked 10. I probably could have done 50, but I mean, I don't want to stress myself out too much. No, but I think we'll get the win. But I just don't. I want to caution everybody to not be so hyped up and buy it, because everybody's going to tell you. Everyone in the media is going to be like, they're going to smoke this team, and if they don't, they suck. That's not the case. I mean, they've got some stuff that'll kind of mess you up a little bit. So let's just let's calm down a little bit and be excited if we can find a way to win, because as much as we want to say the Giants suck, they've got some pieces that are pretty scary.
Plus, playing in London, I feel like is like I wouldn't say a disadvantage because they're both doing it, but I think it's weird, and one team seems to handle it better than the other team, because I don't watch a lot of London games because I usually sleep. I usually forget. Like, I'll be on Twitter laying in
Right.
my underwear on my couch, like, "Oh, there's a game on right now, bro." But,
That's what happened to me last week. I didn't even know, and then I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, dude, there's a game on? I wanna check that out." So I caught it about
yeah,
half.
because like, I remember I was on Twitter, I didn't even see anything about the Vikings game, and I was getting ready to leave to go to Lambeau Field, I was gonna go tailgate and stuff. Then my wife's like, "Oh, there's football," and then she, like, turned it on, I'm like, "No crap." No one's talking about it because nobody cares about the Vikings. But, they shoulda lost that game. I was getting, like, updates, like, the whole day, like, through text message and stuff while I was down tailgating, and, like, it was such a wild game, it sounded like anyways through the text messages. They were winning, they're losing, ended up winning, unfortunately. I hate the Vikings.
I know.
Like
I know.
like, they're fans, like, they're in my comments, "Oh, we're winning the division." Like, okay, that's like, that post was, like, not about the Vikings. So, like, you come at me and then they get hurt. If I make a video just, like, trashing them, then they're like, "Oh, you always come with the Vikings. We're in your head rent free." Like, bro, you guys stay in my comments. If you Every time I make a video about the Vikings, even today when I made one, it's because I see a comment. So I'm like, all right, let
Right.
me think of something. I can trash these pricks. I don't I
You're
can't stand them. Just leave me alone and I'll leave you alone.
You're 100% me, but with the Bears. I'm the exact same way. I'll be on Twitter and I'll see him say something stupid, and I'll respond to it, and then it blows up. Rent free. You never shut up. You're always talking about. It's like you guys keep saying stupid stuff. Like what? I gotta just let it go past me. Like I just gotta be like, well,
Yeah, I
met
don't have that
I met my
ability.
quota for the month. Like I gotta just let it be. I can't talk. No, forget that. You suck, and you're trying to make it seem like you don't suck, and I'm gonna tell you you're wrong and you suck because it's just sitting there. What am I supposed to do? Right? I mean, it's like when you wake up in the morning and somebody left a slice of pizza out. Oh, am I going to not eat it? No, it's just sitting there. I'm going to eat it. It's still good. What are we talking about here?
Dude, you know how bad I try when I see dumb stuff, even like a dumb post on Facebook or whatever. I'll scroll past it. And then I'm like on one post, two posts later, three posts. It's still in the back of my crawl. I'm like four posts later. And then I'm like
You look like
swiping.
a
I'm like,
assignment.
I
Where
gotta
is
say
that damn
something.
thing?
I gotta say something. You son of a like Colin Cowherd, I get tagged in his stuff all the time. Like someone
Yeah,
tagged me today. He said I think he was ranking the teams. It was like a 7-minute video. Like I can't do 7 minutes, Cowherd. I can't. Like he's gonna have to make a reel. Maybe I can tune in for a reel. I hate that dude. He's like he just says stuff to like get attention. And again, I get it. That's what everyone does. Like anyone who posts content to the internet and to the TV, that's what it is. But like I know he doesn't believe these things. Like he
yeah,
can't. It's
yeah,
like I could make a video of Colin Cowherd saying how great Aaron Rodgers is, and another one, just like the Skip Bayless one was arguing with himself about Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers. Like he's such a flip flopper, it just annoys me, and
See,
I try not to watch stuff.
that's where I think we go wrong is we're too focused on like what actually is real And we should
Yeah,
just
or
be
try
saying stupid stuff, and then it blows up, and everyone's like, "Look at this idiot!" And it's like, "Oh, thank you for another 1,000 retweets. I
yeah,
appreciate
dude,
that."
I guarantee you, I could because I don't trash players, even Bear players, Viking players. I
I do.
poke fun at like Kirk Cousins or whatever, but I
Yeah,
don't drag players. But I guarantee you, I could make a video just trashing Justin Fields, saying he's a horrible, crappy quarterback, and just
my
trash
favorite hobby.
and I guarantee like it would probably do better than all the videos that I do because people love when I do trash the Bears a lot, but I never like single out players, and like I feel like that's what if you do that, like, you'll be successful because
Yeah,
people love that stuff, but I just
I should
don't like doing
should lean
that.
into that more. I
I
do
should.
I do make it it's mostly just because it gets under Bears fans' skin. Like, as
Yeah,
soon as
that's what like the
and
Viking stuff I try to, like, just poke it. I know where I know where it hurts them, and then
yeah.
they
It's to the point now where I try to make it kinda funny and jokey just because when they get all, psychotic and angry and hurt about it, it's like, I mean, I was clearly joking and you're this hurt about it, like, okay, I guess that's your thing. I don't know, it's just I spend too much time trying to get under their skin just because it's so easy because 'cause they're so bad right now.
they are, I can't stand but, like, a lot of times I'll say stuff, like, just to, like like that video today, I was kinda poking Viking fan because I haven't talked to him in a while, kinda miss him a little bit, but, like, just, like Viking fans are soft because Bear fans, I got respect for like I know a few Bear fans through social media, and then most of them are all right. But good
Yeah.
time to go back and forth with. But Viking fans, like they can take it so personal. Like, you talk about Kirk Cousins, like just talk about his prime time. They're
Yeah.
like the Vikings will win a game, and they'll be like, "Yeah, Kirk Cousins is great." I'm like, "Good thing this game wasn't in prime time." And like the whole comments like, "Oh, you piece of crap! Oh, I'll kill you!" Like they get worked up, like, you just give them with a really good and then just never respond again. It's
Yeah.
like they're just
That's what
like
I gotta
scream at
get
a
better at
wall.
that. Yeah.
Oh, Viking fans, I hope you suffer. I hope you go another 50, 60 years without a championship, you losers.
Well,
But,
that is the one good thing about where the Vikings I mean, assuming we really don't like the other teams and their fans or whatever, which, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But the good thing about the Vikings is they still believe right now. Bears fans have given up hope already. Like, they know
oh,
it's
yeah.
over. Like, they had about 2 weeks of thinking maybe we got something here, and now they're back. Same with Lions fans. I think they're starting to realize, all right, maybe we really do suck. But Vikings fans are like, dude, we're number one. We can do this. We're going to get this figured out. And you know how it's going to end. So we can just kind of kick back and be like, yeah. No, honestly, it's the exact same thing I said to everybody about the Bears during the offseason. Like, don't tell them they suck. Let them believe it because it's going to hurt that much more when they actually get themselves whipped up thinking Darnell Mooney's a top 10 wide receiver. Our offensive line is actually pretty good. Monty is a top 5 running back. All this stuff they believe. And then when it comes crashing down this hard, it's going to hurt 10 times worse than if they actually know that it's coming. So Bears fans right now, the main blunt impact is already done. They know. But Vikings fans, let them get their hopes up, build them up, go help them. Just be like, oh man, I don't know. Vikings really got something going on right now. Because when it ends in disaster, it's just going to hurt that much more.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the week that the Packers take the lead in the division. Like, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna make a video laughing and showing the record above because I know it's gonna happen, and I still believe the Vikings lose the NFC North by 3 games, like 2 or 3 games. I think they will fall apart,
Yeah.
and, I just can't stand any of them. I think, the Bears are what they are. I think the Lions at the end of the season, I don't know their record, but I feel like the Lions could go on a little run, and I don't mean run like playoff run. I mean, like, they could finish strong because, like, like you say, that their offense if their defense just I think I forget who said it today on ESPN. I saw a quote. If their defense just didn't suck, and it's kinda like with the Packers in the playoffs for a lot of years. What
Yeah.
it
Or
was.
special teams.
Packers offense, did their job back then. If the
Yeah.
defense was just bad and not trash, they
Yeah.
would have won some Super Bowls in there maybe, but, I feel like the Lions are doing some but yeah, I think the Vikings are a horrible team, horrible franchise, like, owned by horrible people probably. I don't know them. I feel like I wouldn't like him. What's his name?
Yeah.
Ziggy? Never trust a
Yeah.
guy named Ziggy unless he's
No,
doing quantum leaps.
it's not good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think old people will remember that. I don't know how old you remember Quantum Leap?
I only see the commercials for like the remake,
Yeah,
but
but
that's
the old one, the
no,
guy's name
I
was
never watched.
Ziggy, right?
No.
So, like, he was, like, he'd go to the past, he had to fix someone's problem in their life. At that time, usually it was something pretty dramatic,
Right.
and then the guy who would help, like, on his little thing was Ziggy. He'd be like, "You gotta talk to Ziggy, figure this thing out." You know what I mean? And then Ziggy'd be like, "Oh, I got you."
Probably the
It
same
wasn't
guy.
quite like that, but but anyways, his name was Ziggy, and that's the only other Ziggy I know. You know any Ziggies? No Ziggies are just walking around.
Yeah, even his last name is stupid. So the whole thing,
Yeah,
it's just a big red flag. Something's wrong
yeah.
there.
Never trust a dude named Ziggy.
Yeah,
Like, if you were like gonna get your car fixed, like just give me 200 now and after, and you're like, what's your name? Like Ziggy. Like, nah, bro, I ain't giving you nothing.
yeah.
Like,
That just reeks of a war criminal that's just changed his name
yeah,
and just made something up, and
yeah.
it's like he
That's
came up
either a
with
fake
stuff.
name or you are like from the future. Like, and
Yeah,
either way, I'm not trusting you. You know
the
what
Martian or something.
I mean? People are talking about my beers, right? I was drinking Spotted Cow, but now I moved on to Coors because I ran out of Spotted Cow, and I don't only have a couple beers left, so that's why I had to switch up. But anyways, I think we're gonna wrap this thing up. For everyone who's listening on mine or his page, you could follow me at the Matt Ramage Show, the podcast, and obviously this guy over here, the Packernet podcast.
Nailed it, dude.
I say
Just
too many words. I add too much stuff to it.
you could add a Packers in there if you wanted to.
Yeah, Packernet Packers NFL Sports Podcast. That's the
That's it.
name of it.
The whole
Just
thing.
Google all of that,
.org.
and
Yep.
you will find his podcast. No, I actually think that you're one of the best people to do it. So I appreciate you, joining me and talking some Packers
It
football.
was fun. It's a good time.
It is. And also everyone go on Twitter, follow at Pack Daddy, which is like an awesome name. Pack Daddy. You can't even say it normal. You'll be like,
No.
what's your Twitter handle? Pack Daddy. You gotta like,
I'm weirded out by it, but I do kinda lean into it sometimes.
yeah, I always forget it's you.
I feel bad that I kind of accidentally ripped it off. There was already a Pack Daddy before me, but it's
And
like it's
where's
too
he
late.
now?
He's down in Texas somewhere. He's pretty well
Yeah.
known, like, he was, like, a big deal Packer fan. Like, he had all this
Oh.
swag, he had a bunch of money and, like, would be all decked out in, like, a super nice car and everything. So I
And then
didn't
you took his name and everything
now
changed for him.
now he's in shambles, and I feel bad about that.
He's like, if only I could have kept that Packer Daddy name, my life would be complete.
Yeah. No, I'm guessing I don't know. Man, don't do it because you're gonna find just never mind. He's out there somewhere, I'm sure.
He's out there. He's living his best life, probably in
He
Florida,
is.
you know what I mean?
He
Uh,
retired his Packer
all
job.
right. So I'm gonna let someone Phil correct this here. He says Ziggy Wolf and the family are actually good people, but more property developers. Yeah.
See,
Yeah, I'm sure they are good people, but yeah, I think that's what the thing is. Like the Packers don't have owners, the fans own the team and all that things. The Vikings owner is like he doesn't care. Like that's just another thing he owns. Like he's just a billionaire. And I'm like I say, he could be a good guy. I don't know.
just the
Probably
fact that he
not.
put
He's a billionaire.
the family in quotes, just I know that
Oh,
it's not
there could be.
you know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay.
Pull that
Oh
up.
yeah. I think he's not saying what he's thinking he's
See
saying.
what I mean? Like the family.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
maybe they're locked
No.
up.
Yeah, they're
Is
shouldn't
that what
talk
he's
about it.
saying?
Probably
No,
shouldn't
we
talk
can't
about
talk
it.
about
No,
that.
we'll leave it alone. They're
I'll
great.
censor that
I
out.
hear
Yeah,
they're
I don't need to get whacked.
No,
You
they're
know what I
fine.
mean?
They're great. I love them.
Anyways, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Be sure to check out the Packernet podcast, the Matt Ramage Show, and that'd be all the podcasts you need for that week. I don't know how to end these things, so we're just gonna end it. Peace out, people. Thanks for watching and listening. Podcast people, I love you.